Hi, welcome to SDG Strategy's Whiteboard Tutorials. My name is Russ McGuire. I'm the founder and chief strategist of SDG Strategy. And today we're going to be talking about how do you develop powerful purpose statements. A purpose statement is incredibly important to an organization. It's incredibly important in strategy development. In fact, as we work with clients on strategy development, the tool that we like to use most is called the purpose pyramid, because at the top of it, kind of at the center core of it, is the purpose statement. Why does the organization exist? What is it trying to accomplish? And that should drive the entire strategy. So a purpose statement is really important, but it's not easy to develop. Most people don't know how to develop a powerful purpose statement. So what we want to talk about is, how do you do that? How do you go from what you know about your organization and what it's trying to accomplish and turn that into something that's a powerful purpose statement? To start, you might have already been peeking at this list of different examples of purpose statements, or sometimes they're called mission statements or vision statements. Those can mean slightly different things, but a lot of times they mean the same thing as a purpose statement. So let's look at some what I think are pretty good examples. Today, the day that I'm recording this video, is the day that SpaceX first carried human astronauts into space to take them to the space station. This is the first time in a decade that America has launched a rocket from our soil to carry humans into space. So it's an exciting day. So let's start with SpaceX's purpose statement or mission statement. They say that their purpose is to revolutionize space technology with the ultimate goal of enabling people to live on other planets. And if we stick within the Elon Musk family of companies, let's also look at Tesla. They have a pretty interesting purpose statement as well. You think of Tesla as being about cars, and specifically electric cars. They've done some other things. They've expanded into solar, they've expanded into battery technology. And so their purpose statement is broader than just cars. Their purpose statement is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. And then you may have heard of TED Talks. You may have watched a bunch of them. They're great. They're very helpful. They have an incredibly short purpose statement. Their purpose is to spread ideas. I like that. Whole Foods, now a part of Amazon, but their purpose statement at least was to nourish people and the planet. And the next one is a company that I was involved with. It's a little bit long for a purpose statement, but I think that it captures some really important points. So the purpose of Visuals is to love our neighbors by restoring independence, dignity, and hope through affordable assistive technology solutions. And then the last one I have on the list here is for a nonprofit organization to give us a little bit of breadth of types of purpose statements. So Invisible Children has as their purpose to end violence and exploitation facing our world's most isolated and vulnerable communities. So these are good examples. There are a lot of good examples out there. There are a lot more bad examples of mission statements or purpose statements. I'm not going to bother kind of making you feel not good about yourself by seeing a list of bad purpose statements, but I'm sure you've seen them yourselves, and you know it when you see it. So what goes into a good purpose statement? Well, I've been standing in front of a list. You might have been trying to peek around me to see. This is a list of just some ideas that I wrote down as I was preparing for this talk of what does represent a good purpose statement. These aren't in any particular order, but I think that one thing that is true of a good purpose statement is that it captures your passion. What are you passionate about? What is the organization passionate about accomplishing? It does reflect uniqueness. I think that it's unusual for two organizations to have the exact same purpose statement. Your purpose statement should work for you and probably not work for anybody else. It should be intriguing. It should cause people to say, tell me more. It should make them want to know even more about your organization and what you mean by that purpose statement and how you intend to accomplish it. It should be concise. TED did a great job of that with spread ideas. That's incredibly concise. And yet I think that it well reflects their organization, what their purpose is. So a concise purpose statement is very helpful. It should be impactful. It should make you say, wow, that's something that is a big deal. And it should be memorable. And I think the conciseness can really help with the memorableness. Some of these were a little bit long, and that makes it harder for everybody associated with the organization to remember the purpose and to be able to repeat it. There's a story, I don't know whether it's true or not, but there's a story that the President of the United States, and maybe it was John F. Kennedy, was visiting NASA one day, and the first person that he saw there as his entourage was coming into the building was actually a janitor sweeping the floor. And so President Kennedy went over to the janitor and said, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" And the man said, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." That might not have been the exact purpose statement that NASA had at that moment in time, but it perfectly reflected the organization's kind of mission, what they were setting out to do. And so everyone in your organization should be able to tell anyone who asks, this is what our purpose is. And so a concise purpose statement, and one that is memorable, can be incredibly powerful in helping the people inside your organization to know how to do their jobs every day, the decisions that they make, how to make those decisions. And it should also help those outside your organization to deeply understand who you are and what's true about you, and therefore when they should look to you for leadership. A mission or a purpose statement should be simple but not vague. It should be simple enough that everyone understands what it means. It's not full of $10 words. It's got language that everyone can understand, but not vague. It has to provide that direction. It has to help your people to know what they're supposed to do every day and how to make the decisions that they need to make. It needs to be motivating. It needs to be something that causes people to say, I'm excited to be part of this organization. I'm excited to get up in the morning and go into work and to do my job. And then finally, it has to be true. It has to be true for you and about you. It has to be true about what your organization is all about, what you care about. It has to be true about what your organization is good at and what it can accomplish. And it also has to be true for those that you serve. It has to be true about what their needs are and what matter to them. So this gives a sense of some of the different attributes of a powerful purpose statement. And again, if we look at this list of examples, I think that it's hard to have the perfect purpose statement, and some of these don't hit every single point that's up there. But in general, when we hear a good purpose statement, we have a sense that these types of things are true. So how do you go about it? This is described what it looks like, but how do you approach it? Well, I want to introduce a couple of different kind of frameworks to help with this. And the first one is still somewhat at a high level, and it's kind of along the lines of this list. But I think that it's an interesting way to think about your purpose statement. The way that I would briefly describe it is I erase these. And by the way, some of these colors were hard to read on the board, and sometimes my handwriting is a little bit hard to read. If you're watching this video on YouTube or somewhere other than clearpurpose.media or Clear Purpose publication at medium.com, then I recommend you go there, because underneath the video on the page that has this tutorial will actually have everything that we just had on the whiteboard here in slide form typed out so it's easy to read. Okay, so moving on. I think what I was saying is that a purpose, one way that I like to think about a purpose is that a purpose combines your passion with your position. So what drives you, what motivates you, what excites your organization, what is it that your organization is energized by going out and doing and accomplishing? And then your position, what's true about you, what's true about your position within the world, what's true about the capabilities that you have. So we can think of this as kind of a Venn diagram of sorts. See how well I can do this? Where there really are three things that you're trying to find that overlap between. And the first is, what are you passionate about? So what's your passion? What are you passionate about? And the second is, what are you good at? What are the things that you're good at? And then the third is, what's the need? So what do people need? And so your purpose should be in that intersection point about where your passion is, but also what you're good at and what you can deliver. And then finally, what people actually need. If your purpose is not meeting a real need that's out there in the world, then your purpose really lacks impact. So hopefully this kind of gives you a sense for how to think about it. But even so, this might get your head kind of thinking in the right place. But how do you actually craft a purpose statement that people can really understand, that kind of fits this list? And there's no short answer to that. As you saw the list that was up here before, some are longer than others, some are structured differently, some put a verb first and then kind of the object of that verb second. So there's different ways in which you can structure it. But one very simple approach is one that's been developed, I believe, by the Mulago Foundation. And so they have a template that they require any organization, any nonprofit that they're going to make an investment in to follow. And they say that if you can't state your mission in 7 words or less, then they aren't going to invest in you. And so, so let me erase this. Again, all of these slides are going to be on the page that has this video. So the template that they use really just has 3 parts to it. And so the first is a verb. The second is the target population. And the third is the impact. So, so what is it that you do? Who are you doing it for? And what's the outcome? What happens when you do that verb for that group of people? What's the impact? And so as they're working with nonprofits, they might have one like, and sometimes it's not in this exact order, but eliminate hunger in Southeast Asia might be one that they would have. So the target population would be Southeast Asia, the impact would be eliminating hunger, and the verb would be eliminate. So so they're looking for very short, 7 words or less. Again, mission statements is what they call it. I think it's the same thing as a purpose statement. And when they talk about it, they say that there really are 3 things that are true of a purpose statement that comes out of their approach to it. And the first is that it tells exactly what the organization has set out to do. The second is that it's really focused on concrete impacts. And the third is it focuses on the what and not the how. And some of the purpose statements we had before focused on both the what they're doing, but also the how they're going about doing it. And I think that can be okay, but if you want to get it really concise, then you boil it down. Some of the purpose statements that we saw, some of what was in there was implied. Perhaps the target population was implied, or can't think of any where either the verb or the impact were implied. But if this is a template that can be used for developing a purpose statement, let's just go through an example to see what that looks like. So let's use SDG Strategy. I like to use my own company as examples for you in these tutorials. And so SDG Strategy, we are a strategic catalyst. It's we help businesses and nonprofits with their strategy development work. And we do it in a way that really is focused on accelerating that process, accelerating the strategy development process within our client organizations. So unlike a traditional consulting firm that might bring an army of people in, do a lengthy project, a very thorough project that a traditional consulting firm would do might take months. And at the end of it, to deliver the strategy to the client organization, our approach is different. Our approach is that we come in as a catalyst. We aren't the ones that are doing most of the work. Our client has the smart people to do it. We're just helping them to do that. And specifically, we're focused on speed, helping them to quickly develop a sound strategy. And so if I take this template and I apply it just the way that it's written to SDG strategy, then I would say that what we do is we help, or perhaps we accelerate. And then the second word, the target population, is business leaders. And the impact is that they develop sound strategies, or perhaps rapidly develop sound strategies. So if we take the first version of this, we might say that our purpose is to help business leaders develop sound strategies, which is what our purpose statement is on our website today. We might more accurately say help business leaders rapidly develop sound strategies. Or, for the fun of it, we might turn it around a bit. And we might say that our purpose is to accelerate strategy development. And even imply who the target population is. Target population would be anybody who develops strategy. It might help if we're a little more focused. So accelerate strategy development. This is where it might be interesting. By business leaders. It's kind of an interesting one. I like it. Maybe I'll have to think about whether we should change our purpose to match this. This is not following the exact order here. We're turning things around. But we're accelerating strategy development by business leaders, which implies, by the way, that they're the ones who are doing the strategy development, which is a big part of our model. And the role that we play is really accelerating. So hopefully this gives you a sense. Again, either of these would be, if we go back to this list, I think that these capture the passion. We're passionate about strategy development. We're passionate about helping leaders to truly, in fact, we usually don't say, do we say business leaders? We could leave business off here because we also help nonprofits. This one seems a little bit odd to have the word business out of there, but to help leaders rapidly develop sound strategies, that's pretty close to our current one. So it does capture our passion. We're about accelerating that process, and we're passionate about helping others to develop sound strategies. Reflect our uniqueness with our strategic catalyst model, with the accelerate and the rapidly. I think that it does that. Intriguing, especially the accelerate part. I think people would say, tell me more. I want to understand what you mean by that. Concise, I think both of these are concise. Impactful, I think they can be impactful. I think they're memorable. I think they're simple, but they aren't vague. Are they motivating? They motivate me. I think they motivate SDG strategy. Are they true for us? I think they are true for us. Are they true for those we serve? I think that the people we serve do need to develop sound strategies. They need to do it rapidly and affordably. So there's a quick example. Again, I'm not going to eliminate for you the wordsmithing process that you'll go through. You've seen even here on this whiteboard as we've gone through it, we've played around with the word some, we've added some words in, we've taken words away, we've turned things around. That's a process that you're going to have to go through with your team. But hopefully this gives you a starting point, and a starting point that I think can be pretty powerful. So again, I thank you for your time and for your attention. I hope that these whiteboard tutorials are helpful to you. You can find all of these, all the tutorials that we're developing at clearpurpose.media. Our website is sdgstrategy.com, and my name is Russ McGuire. I'm the founder and chief strategist for SDG Strategy. And if you'd like any help with any of this, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is russ@sdgstrategy.com. Thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you again soon.